Good afternoon, I'm Darryl Lesak, Director of Environmental Services with the City of Victoria, and I'm here today to talk to you about your brush pickup. Brush pickup is covered as part of your monthly garbage bill, and what brush pickup includes is a once a quarter pickup for each household up to 6 cubic yards. 6 cubic yards, in the way that the city views it, is a 4 by 4 by 10 foot pile. If a customer is not sure when the city will be in their area to pick up their brush, there's a couple of different ways that you can find out. The first is you can call the solid waste office at 485-3220, and by simply giving them your address, they will be able to help you determine when and for how long we will be in your neighborhood. You can also go to victoriatx.org, click on the environmental link and find brush and bulky pickup. Click on that link, and that has a map of the city. It's as simple as finding your home and then looking at the dates that coincide with the number of your area. We offer an in-cycle and out-of-cycle pickup. An in-cycle pickup means we are in each area, and the city's divided into 4 areas. We are in each area for a 3-week period each quarter. If we are in your area for that 3 weeks, when you have a pile that needs to be picked up, there is no extra charge for pickup. However, consider that we may be in area 2, your home is in area 4, and you trim trees and you need them picked up now rather than waiting until we're in area 4. You can call in for what's called an out-of-cycle pickup. And there is a charge for that. The charge is $20 and $1.50 a minute for us to pick up that pile. I do remind people that we can pick up about 1.5 yards to 2 yards of brush per minute. 5 years ago or so, the city picked up brush just as people called in. And the problem that you have with that is now that you're trying to cover approximately 20,000 homes, and it's kind of a shotgun approach. You may be on this side of town for one pickup and that side of town for another pickup, and back and forth. So Victoria is an old city with a lot of beautiful trees, a lot of shrubs, and everybody pretty much cares about how their yard looks, how their trees look. So it's important that we provide that service so that you have a way to get rid of those trees. And by doing it the way we do it on a quarterly basis, we're able to concentrate in areas. And while we're in that area, clean that area up from start to finish so that when we leave there, it's clean, the brush is cleaned up, there's nothing setting out by the street, and then we move on to the next area. It is important to remember that at the beginning of this, because of that kind of shotgun approach, that we did receive a lot of complaints. And some of that was because we didn't have a pattern, a way to cover the city, that people who did not call in brush piles, we were not always aware that those brush piles were there. So a lot of the complaint calls were from neighbors who complained that, this person's put out brush and it's been there for 3 months. Unfortunately, had we not received a call from that customer, we would have never known that that brush was out there. The way we operate now, we're in each area for 3 weeks. We drive that entire area picking up every pile, whether you call it in or not, to find out when we're going to be in your area. Because the city does have an ordinance against putting brush out and leaving it out more than 48 hours at the curb. Now, if we are in your area for that 3-week period, we ask you to put it out. During that 3 weeks, we will get it, and there's not any issues during that time because we are there picking it up, and we do need it to be out by the street when we come through your area. You don't have to call in because we are going to drive down every street. However, it is good to call in, and the reason it is because we do maintain a list of people who contact us and let us know that they've got brush piles, and depending on the area, we may have 30 phone calls from 2 streets. So when we begin that area, we may begin the densest part of that area that contains brush so that we can kind of clean the brush up off the street before it becomes a traffic issue or a drainage issue or anything like that, in order to take care of that and then move on to the rest of the neighborhood. So you're not required to call in. We will get it whether you call in or not, but it is somewhat important to let us know, especially if you've got a really large pile. If a person needs to trim their trees due to a number of factors, and we are not working in your area, still the first and best thing to do is call our office, 485-3220, and let us know what you're going to do. And then what we can do is let you know when we can be there. It is an out-of-cycle pickup. There is the $20 fee plus the $1.50 a minute. However, we can tell you that we will be there on Wednesday or we will be there on Thursday, and so that we can try and line up our pickup with picking up immediately after you get the brush put out at the street, so it's not sitting out there irritating to your neighbors or even irritating to you and your grass. A lot of the complaints that we might get is that it's killing your grass, but if we know ahead of time, we can schedule this and work together to get it picked up. We get a lot of questions about the 6 cubic yard limit. The easiest way to explain 6 cubic yards is you take a pile that's 4 foot by 4 foot by 10 foot long. So 4 foot wide by 4 foot tall by 10 foot long. That's approximately 6 yards. It's quite large. You know, you can sometimes take a pile that's 6 yards that looks 6 yards, but simply by stacking the brush in the right and all in the same direction, you can cut that pile to 3.5, 4 yards. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do. As far as the 6 cubic yards though, you know, I like to remind people that when you put it out there by laying it the same way, it also helps us pick that pile up quicker. As we're reaching down with those grabbers and picking up those piles, if all the brush is laying the same way, we can get much bigger bites and put into the truck. So it also saves you money on the $1.50 a minute. We get calls about smaller piles of brush. And by smaller piles, I mean something in the nature of a small limb that has fallen off a tree or something. You can wait till your quarterly pickup if you'd like to have that done. One of the suggestions that we have though is that simply taking that and cutting it into 3 or 4 pieces, wrapping a piece of twine around it, please use twine, something that's compostable as opposed to wire, and then putting it out on the same day as your regular garbage pickup, at least 5 feet away from your garbage can, as long as it's under 50 pounds, we can pick that up as yard waste. The same thing goes for if you're trimming a few shrubs or something like that. You can either put that in your old trash can, or you can put that in a bag, a paper bag, or bundle it together with some twine and put that out there. And now we can pick that up weekly rather than having a small pile like that and calling for a large knuckle boom to come by and pick it up and then having to possibly wait, you know, a month or 2 months for us to get there. In order to recap the best way to have your brush picked up on time, we start with asking people to check the schedule. Either call 485-3220 to the solid waste office or look online and figure out when your brush pickup is. Once you know when your brush pickup is, then you can schedule to have your brush cut at that time. As you're cutting your brush, or even better, before you cut your brush, contact, again, the solid waste office to schedule your pickup. Again, you don't have to schedule your pickup, but it does help if we've got you on a list, because it helps us decide where to start in each neighborhood. Once that you have done that and you've got it placed out by the street, we will come by, we will pick it up. If it's over 6 cubic yards, we will contact you while we're there to make sure that you agree with the overage cost before we pick up the rest of the pile. If not, we will pick up the 6 yards, leave the rest along with a note, and you can contact us at your leisure, and we will come back during that cycle and pick the rest of that brush up, and then you will have the additional charge of just the $1.50 a minute.